Good morning, welcome back to Milmo Wood here in the beautiful North Wales. Today I'm going to be making a large lantern, Chinese style lantern. The inspiration for this was from a YouTube video, so don't lay credit to the full design, but I've put my spin on it. I've made a demonstration one or a development one, and now I'm in for making the next model, the improved version if you like. I've created some plans, I'm following through the plans, and I'm making alterations as I go and some measurements of the amount of wood I'm using. Hopefully I'll be able to share these plans with you if you're interested. I've done some cutting already, so there's some bits cut, but I've got more to cut. So let's crack on with the video, do the cutting, and then let's start the assembly of the giant Chinese lantern. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please subscribe, hit that bell, and share it with your friends, and hopefully we'll get more people to join my really small channel here in North Wales. Thanks guys. I'm going to repeat that on all four sides now. Clean up the glue, squeeze out, and we're then ready to put the insert rectangle and the lattice width. Now the frames are dry with the insert frames in, we're going to put the insert rectangle and the lattice pieces in. Should be a snug fit. And what I would say is these I've all cut them slightly oversized, and then I'm just making them slightly smaller, nibbling at them until they fit. I have to tease that one a little bit more. But in order to centre the piece, or to centre the lattice on the insert frame, you need to find the centre of each end. Tiny little marks on, and then we're ready to glue. I'm putting one of the longer pieces in, which will centralise the rectangle in the frame, and then we'll put the smaller pieces in to suit that. I'm doing it by eye on the centre mark that I put on earlier. Nice fit. Just going to adjust that till it's central. Trying to make sure the wood is as level as possible with the framework, and then that'll hold itself in place now and glue. You need to do exactly the same with the end ones. Albeit I think I just need to take a fraction off this. Again, use the mark that we had on the centre rectangle. Tie that up. It's a bit loose, but I think once the other side goes in, we'll squeeze together. There we go, and we'll leave that to dry. What you could do is, if they are a little bit loose, you could put a brad nail in the centre just to hold them in place, but that should be sufficient for that frame. I'm going to repeat this on all the four sides now, and then that's the sides ready then. All four sides complete with the lattice work, leave them to dry, move on to the next stage. So now onto the venting crown. We've got the two pieces that we glued together earlier, and we've got 4 of those. I need to cut them to length, So we need the 45-degree angle. And we need to cut them on edge. We need to find the centre of the wood and start marking out the venting holes. So we know the wood's 340 millimeters long. So that's 170 millimeters to the centre. And then we're going to measure 50 millimeters away from the centre hole for the additional holes. Make that mark. I'm going to repeat that on the other pieces, and then we'll go to the drill press and drill through with the Forstner bit. I'm not going to drill all the way through the wood. I've done it so that I can see where the Forstner bit tip comes out. I'm going to flip it over. Make sure we find the hole. And the reason for that is, instead of getting breakout this side, we'll have a cleaner cut. Do the same with the other 25mm hole. Flip the piece over, find the centre hole. I'm going to repeat this on all 4 pieces and then drill the centre hole in exactly the same way. Cut all 4 pieces now. Now we're ready to assemble them into the next sub-assembly for the venting crown. And we're just going to roll the venting crown up. Pay particular attention to the corners. When you're satisfied it's nice and level, bit of tension on the tape, pull it down into place. Just make sure every corner's nice, level and clean, and that's ready to be put on one side to dry. I'm just going to take any excess glue. Again, in the centre I use a scraper. Glue it. Leave that on one side, and then we can move on to the next step. Just while the venting crown's drying, we've got the base with the floor glued in. We need to apply the feet. Just need to mark in 1 centimetre from the edge on each corner. Just put a short line in with a set square. Again, I've cut the feet previously. Now just on the feet, we've got the long feet and the short feet. So the long feet, or the long side of the feet, I'm going to place so it faces the front. So I'm just going to pick which side of the base I want to face the front. measurement on the back. I'm just going to re-measure on the front. Going to apply some glue to the long side, not the short side, depending on the bevel. And place this so it's on the side line and against that front line. And then with the shorter foot, apply the glue. Put some glue on the edge on this one, because that's going to put up to the longer foot. Follow the line. There we go. And then once I've done all four, I'm going to apply some clamp pressure to those. I'll do that off camera though. All clamped up now, leave them to set. So the main body at the base is ready now to start assembly. We'll move on to the roof later. The next thing to do is to cut the sides and start gluing them together. I've now selected two side pieces that I'm going to cut, and the reason I'm going to cut a section off each end is to make sure that the lamp's square. So these will be butt joints, and if I butt them the same width as this, I'll end up with a slight oblong. So I'm just going to trim the edge, the thickness of the material, and that way it should be square. I've raised the blade so it's just slightly above the thickness of the material by one tooth, probably a little high. I'm just going to take that down a touch, and I need to set my fence so that the tooth, so that the wood is at the end of the tooth. There we go. I'm happy with that. Oh, just double checking it. And now to cut the side pieces. These sections that I've cut off, I'm actually going to use as the battens that were in the cutting list to save on wood. So I need to cut those down to size, but the two sides are now cut ready. And before I start assembling everything, I'm just going to give all these pieces a sanding down now. I'm going to take them down to 240 grit sandpaper. I'll start 120 I think, and then go to 240. And then we're ready for assembly. Now I've sanded it all down, I'm just going to take opportunity to fill some of these gaps, which I didn't notice on the glue up, but much bigger than they need to be. So I'm going to use the sawdust and wood glue as a filler and fill some of those holes in. When that's dry, resand it. So I've cut the battens off camera, I've added glue, and now all we need to do is secure these to the bottom and top edge. We're only going to do it on three sides, because one of the sides that we've trimmed down needs to be the door and doesn't need battens. So if we pick the nicest one for the door, the other one's going to be at the back. Stick the batten on, right down at the bottom edge. Just going to clamp it on. We're going to repeat the same at the top edge, and we're going to do this for the 3 sides. All the battens clamped on now. Need to let that dry and then we can start assembly.